Okay, so I have to speak about this. I'm hearing way too much about manifestation and hearing people say, I'm going to manifest this or that. This irritates me and makes me angry because there is so much ignorance behind it. Can we please agree that you are manifesting the reality you perceive? Whatever you perceive, the coffee shop you go to, the people you interact with, the sidewalk you walk on, that is the illusion that you're creating from your unconscious. So you're already manifesting. You're manifesting the whole world that you live in. So when you go to bed and you dream, everything that happens in that dream, you created that, right? If you have a bad dream and there's a monster and there's a murderer with a knife who's running after you, when you wake up, who was that? Who was the monster? Who was the murderer? It was you. This is a dream. You are dreaming. You have to understand that everything you see is coming from your unconscious mind. So when people say that they want to manifest like a house or whatever, they want to manifest money, what they're saying is they're unhappy with the reality that they've already created based on how much work they've done on themselves. Manifestation, as it is commonly known, in my opinion, is black magic. And in many ways, if you choose to practice black magic, that's up to you. But I feel that very few people can practice this at a high enough consciousness level that it is anything but a waste of time and or detrimental. Someone teaching you black magic techniques has not done enough work on themselves. If you're seeing an ad for manifestation, that person is not healed. If you are healed, you are okay with your reality. And even if your reality includes suffering, like a lack of material items, a lack of money energy, and even a lack of close connections with other human beings, you are at peace with the reality you've created. This is what self-mastery is. This is what spiritual work is. This is the point of healing. The point of healing is to be okay with things. And when you're trying to manifest stuff, you're practicing black magic. And what you're telling me is that you're not okay with things. In fact, you want to have these material things. Most people who practice manifestation want stuff. They want a house, they want money, they want a relationship. They just want something on the outside, an exterior thing that they think might make them happy or would make life easier for them or something like this. This kind of person is not in for the long haul. They're not able to practice the long game. They don't have enough equanimity, discipline, or self-respect to play the long game. The long game is not easy, but that's the point of being a human. The point of being a human is not to manifest a fucking house. I know so many people who do this manifestation stuff. They do the vision boards, they write stuff down, they like, think about it and have an excited feeling, all this kind of stuff. This is black magic. Do you agree, perhaps, that if a stream is just doing whatever it's doing, there's like rocks, there's, animals, whatever, there's plants, as long as it's untouched by, let's just say a human mind, animals can come by, whatever. That stream is pristine, you can say. It's untouched by pollution, it's untouched by technology, it's pristine. But as soon as a human comes by and takes one rock and goes, oh, I think I want it over there, and places it over there, do you agree that that human, through their mind, and their ego change the karma of the stream. And we do this big time when we create dams, right? Like completely destroying what happens on the other side of the dam, let alone the area around the dam, but whatever. We're changing the karma of the stream. We're changing the karma of all the plants and animals that are related to that stream or river. When a mind comes in with its own idea that comes from the ego, it creates evil. When the mind comes in with its own idea that comes from its ego, it's evil. And almost every single manifestation thing I see is evil. It's based on people's ego's ideas of what they want. It has nothing to do with their true selves. It has nothing to do with what would give them the most spiritual growth. And it has nothing to do with like manifesting or wanting a sense of peace inside. You know, if you have peace inside, if you already have achieved self-mastery, you don't need anything. You're okay with your own mortal death. You are at peace with what is. And nothing really has this good or bad quality that when you're at a lower level of consciousness, a lot of things are bad and very few things are good. And the things that you think are good are the things that reify your ego, which is not good. Am I making sense so far? If you have spiritual wealth, oftentimes I believe it can come with material wealth. So I'm not saying that wanting things or having things is bad in and of itself. I mean, that's sort of like, you know, like a dog kind of turning around before it makes its bed and goes to sleep. You know, there are things that are like, you're not going to want to go around being infested by ticks. You know, that's not enlightened. Like respecting yourself is good. But wasting your time and energy trying to create a different stream than the stream that is, I don't like it. Am I making sense so far? I'll go into this, okay? One of the best manifestors I've ever encountered didn't even have to do visualizations or, you know, have that feeling. You know, a lot of these manifestation techniques required you to just almost be thinking about that thing 24/7 or thinking about it really hard and letting it go or whatever. But you have to have an idea of what you want, and usually it comes from your ego. It doesn't come from your true self, because usually what your true self wants is what your ego does not want. So the current state that you're in and all the discomforts that it has is for you to feel motivated to go towards your true self. Trying to ameliorate your situation through material things is misguided. And one of the best manifestors I've ever encountered was such a black magic queen. She really illustrates why I don't like manifestation. Like, for example, she kept herself artificially low by not working on herself. So she was a slave at a yoga center. She literally worked for free, and she complained about it because she was supposed to get a salary and she never received it. And they always had an excuse, and she kept working there. She wouldn't leave. And she often didn't have enough money to eat. So she was literally starving. And, you know, maybe her friends would have to buy her a cup of coffee or something like this. And then what she would manifest are dumb little things, material things that would ameliorate her material situation only because she didn't do enough healing work to leave the slavery to begin with. So her friend would be like, you know what, why don't you just stay in my my house for free? You know, I have a free bedroom, something like this. And she's like, oh my God, you know, look at what I manifested. But she would get into people's minds. And so like she would get into people's minds and they would, let's say, have the idea to do something, and that thing would benefit her. The thing is, it wasn't their idea. The entity inside of her got into that person's head and gave them that idea. So she manifested all kinds of things that would make up for the lack that she had conscientiously created for herself by agreeing to slavery, for example. So the life you're living right now, the reality you are experiencing right now, is based on the healing work you've done so far. And if it's uncomfortable, then pay attention, because the universe is telling you where to do your healing work. So this woman who wouldn't leave the yoga center, clearly for her to make a decision in real life based on a healed state, she would have had to leave the yoga center. Does this make sense? So manifesting all this stuff that allowed her to stay at the yoga center and not heal was bad. Am I making sense? This is what I advocate. I advocate accepting your life and trusting the universe. The universe has a better plan for you than you would ever plan for yourself. And if you don't trust the universe, then you're going to do the stupid manifestation stuff. I have an acquaintance who manifested her dream home recently. She cut a picture of it out, put it on a vision board, did all this stuff, right? Manifested the house. Now she lives in like this huge villa. Is she happy? What do you think? Is she happy? She's like the same as before. There are no external things that will change your internal state. There are no external things that will change your internal state. You need to change your internal state in order to have a different external reality. Does this make sense to you? This is a partial wheel of consent, okay? What I'm advocating is to be in the allow category, which means you're mentally passive, physically passive, and you trust the universe to arrange things for you. This is the power position, in my opinion. The thing is, in real life, this is where people get, when they're out of consent, they get victimized and they get trespassed. So a lot of people have a hard time being here because you have to do a lot of healing work to feel comfortable in this dynamic where you just allow things to happen to you. Most of us, we were traumatized because we allowed things to happen to us when we were little. And so we're doing everything possible to make sure that we're the ones in control, you know? So this is when people go into their minds. This is why a lot of women are in their minds and they're masculinized. This is why people have difficulties with intimacy, and they don't trust themselves, and they don't trust the universe, and they don't trust other people. This is a different dynamic. You can see that it's under the horizon line. So it's also feminine. This is also physically doing nothing, but mentally it's extremely active. Mentally, it's actually quite masculine. It says, please go to the store and get me sugar. And if you're into manifestation, you know, it's not like go to the store and get me sugar. Go to the store and get me the third sugar from the back, you know, 16 ounces, this brand, you know. And if it's under this price, get it. And if it's over this price, don't get it. You have to be very specific when you make requests in terms of real life boundaries dynamics. And you have to be very specific when you're requesting of the universe certain things. Here's the thing. You are outside of consent when you want to manifest, okay? You're not okay with the world. You're not in gratitude. You're not like grateful for what you have. You just want more. So you're like, I'm unhappy and I'm trying to manifest, and then I'm trying to like generate this sense of gratitude. You know, a lot of manifestation techniques require you to be in gratitude, correct? So like, you're trying to manifest this sense of gratitude in order for the universe to serve you, because when you don't feel gratitude, then you're lazy and entitled. And I think we've all experienced this, where we give something to someone, we serve them in some kind of way, we kind of go out of a way to help them, and they're not grateful and we feel used, right? So if you're feeling like this, the universe is going to feel used, and it literally is outside of consent with you, and there's no way for it to serve you. You have to be in consent in order for the universe to serve you. The thing is, when you're in consent and you want the universe to serve you, and you say, you know, please get me this house, this car, this relationship, this amount of money, or whatever, um, you're kind of like misusing, you're kind of misusing the universe. It's like a, you know, I've seen birds and papaya trees. First of all, the papaya trees are completely abundant with papayas. There's so much papaya just drops to the ground and it rots, like it doesn't all get eaten. And the birds eat just the ripest parts, you know, and they leave the rest. They don't even eat the whole papaya the way a human would. We don't want to waste any of it, right? But the bird just eats the ripest parts. The bird trusts. The bird doesn't have the kind of mentality to request of the universe, more ripe papaya, please. Even if there's some kind of instinct that it would like more ripe papaya, it accepts life as it is and it takes care of itself. And I think we can agree that most animals have more internal peace than humans do, because animals don't have egos. So it's really your ego that gives you the sense of dis-ease and mistrust, where you don't trust yourself, you don't trust life, blah, blah, blah. It's your ego, right? So when you're trying to manifest in order to make up for the fallacy of your ego, that makes no sense to me. To me, what you really need to be doing is working on your long game, not your short game. Your short game, what you're doing is you're cheating. It's like you're trying to win the marathon, not by training to win the marathon, but by like changing some digital thing that you wear on your arm and pretending that you won, right? That's what a lot of these manifestation things are. They are like these hacks, you know, universe hacks. Why would you treat your mother like that? Why would the bird treat the papaya tree like that? It doesn't even make sense. It's like the human coming in and moving the rock from the stream just because it feels like it, just because it kind of has this like instinct to destroy in many kinds of ways. So when you're manifesting in the way that I'm talking about, the way I'm complaining about, you're trying to make the world more comfortable for your ego and therefore harder for you to understand what your spiritual path is. And your spiritual path is the long game, and you have to embrace the discomfort because it helps you. It helps you feel what your true path is. So once you reach this kind of spiritual realm, you know, when you've reached this non-dual state, when you've practiced egolessness enough that you're at peace with what is and you're okay with your own mortal death, then anything can happen pretty much. It doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily like it, like, you know, you like that you accidentally fell into a pit of lava or something like that, but you can accept it, and you're not going to have that like baby tantrum feeling that an ego normally does. It just is what is. And that doesn't mean you go around abusing yourself, throwing yourself into pits of lava on purpose because nothing matters. I don't want to speak anymore. Am I making sense to you? This is all I'm going to say today. Okay, thank you. Bye.